Hi everyone, I am Ahuna and today I shall make a chess game analysis. The game that I will show you today was played by John Cochrane versus Mohischunder Bannerjee in Kolkata on 1848, which is 172 years ago in General Post Office, which was then the Calcutta Chess Club. This game is full of action and adventure. It is a small 25 move game which is really interesting to watch and I hope you enjoy. E4, E5, knight F3, knight F6. Initially, this is a Petrov defense. Here, white's two main choices are knight cross D5, the classical variation, or D4, the Steinitz variation. White played knight cross E5 here. So knight cross E5 is more popular, but they often lead to the same positions, and there is no clear reason to choose one over another. Petrov defense leads to drawish games, and both the variations will lead to drawish games, except there is a trap which black needs to be alert about, which I will show you after some time. D6. Consequently, D6 here is more popular. If black plays queen E7 rather than D6, then white plays mostly D4, D4, and knight F3. White's most common move in D6, in this case, is knight F3. There is a copycat trap here which black's beginner opening player of the Petrov defense sometimes misses, which I'm going to show you now. Knight cross E5, knight cross E4, and then queen E2, which is the trap. So if knight goes to G4 or F6, then the knight C6 and the queen is gone. And if something else like queen E7 is played, then the piece is gone. So that's what the trap I was talking about. Now we will go back to the original position. So white played, knight cross F7 here. This is called the Cochrane Gambit, and the Cochrane Gambit was created by John Cochrane. John Cochrane was a 19th century Scottish chess player. Cochrane was a well-known name in the Calcutta, now known as Kolkata, my home state, chess club, as he played against several Indian players there while he lived in India. The first appearance of the Cochrane Gambit against the Petrov's defense, according to Wikipedia, was in the year 1848 against an Indian master, Mohischunder Bannerjee. So black played king cross f7 here, and white did bishop c4 check, king e8. King e8 seems like a logical choice here initially, but it leaves white's dangerous light square bishop intact, ready to pounce on the black anytime. So rather than king e8, I would prefer bishop e6, which is a very important move to neutralize the light square weaknesses that are created in black's camp due to the loss of the critical f7 pawn. If white does bishop cross e6 check, king cross e6, castle, and king f7, and the black king is secured since there is no white bishop and the light square bishop is the light square bishop weaknesses are gone. King e8 back into the original position, castle, c5, h3. You definitely would not expect a move like this from a side that sacrificed a piece on move 4. But this move precisely brings white's ideas into this variation into the limelight. This move, stopping black from getting knight g4 or bishop g4 in the future, shows that white is not hoping to launch on the black king and try to finish the game instead. Instead, white is trying to work on black's long-term problem, like finding a good spot for the king or developing his pieces, or facing white's bad center. White wants to continue development, control the center, and see how black defends against his critical problems. Black played queen c7 here, white f4. f4 is of course a good move, but something else could be also tried, which is rook e1. Bishop e7 could be played consecutively, and c3, a6, d4. A d4 break would be essential here for white to open up. If b5, bishop d3, and that would set it right. Now we will go back to the original position and see what happens next. f4, knight c6, knight c3. So knight c3 is a good move, but except of knight c3, c3 and d4 would be also good, like an alternative. So knight c3, a6 and a4, which is another wonderful move from white, stopping black from expanding on the queen side with b5 and developing his light squared bishop to b7, like this. So black plays queen e7 here, white plays knight d5, black plays queen d8, and I find the queen c7, queen e7, and queen d8 triangulation obviously bad, since it has just given white a few critical tempos. Now I will show you what happens if knight cross d5 was played instead of queen d8. Knight cross d5, a trade that would mostly favor the side with less space, but in this case black would be terrified to open up the e file. So e cross d5 and queen f6. And queen f6, which is a narrow escape from a tactical finish. So if except of queen f6, black played knight d4, then white will play rook e1, as you have must seen already. So queen f6 not only saves the piece, I will show you how. So d cross c6, queen d4 check, king h1, queen cross c4, and it's equal. And if white tries with queen f3, then rook a7 can be played, and this saves the pressure on b7. Now we will go back to the original position. Queen d8, queen d8, okay. d4 was played by white. Black played c cross d4. So either queen e2 and e5 would be good, or b4 and bishop b2 would be also very good. White played e5 here, which is a pretty daring move, and black played knight cross d5. So if black played knight d cross e5 here, then knight cross f6 check, g cross f6, f cross e5, and rather than f cross e5, if white tried queen h5 check, then king d7, and that would be not a really good position for white because the attack is so slowly suppressing and it is stopping. So we will go back to f cross e5, knight cross e5, queen h5 check, king d7, and black's king is ready to take shelter on c7 and eventually on b8 after his queenside rook is developed. So white can play bishop f4 here, and black can play bishop d6. And if in bishop f4, black tried knight cross c4, then there is of course the queen f7 check, bishop e7, queen cross c4. And I think so it would be good for black, but it's really unclear. But it's still stopping black's attack. Black is stopping white's attack against black. So I would really advise black did this. But we will continue to see the other variation. Bishop d6 and rook a d1. So it is good to bring the a rook into the play, and it is also having an x-ray effect, x-ray attack on the d file. So rook king c7, and black has slowly but surely moved into the safe zone. That I can assure. But these things didn't happen, and white did bishop cross d5, and then d cross e5. So rather than d cross e5, I was thinking of queen b6, which I find interesting. So if white did queen h5 check, I wouldn't really prefer g6 here, because white can promote more attack on the king side unnecessarily. And I would show you the g6 variation once. G6, queen f3, bishop f5, and then g4, which is pressurizing the black king. F d3 check, then bishop e3, and that will be pretty strong for black. Now I will go back to king d8 variation, not the g6 variation. King d8, e6 can be played. Bishop e7 and f5, which is allowing the bishop g5, and it's also pressurizing the f pawn more into the 7th and the 8th rank. And this is pretty good for white if bishop g5 is allowed. So h6 is the ideal move here. h6, white can play bishop f4 here, and black would play queen c5 here, which is pretty much okay for both the sides. Now we will go back to d cross e5 and bishop cross c6 check, queen b cross c6, and queen h5 check. Of course, black will not make the g6 mistake here, or else the h8 rook and queen cross e5 would lose the rook. So king d7 here, f cross e5 is recommended here for white, and I think it is the best move here as well. So f cross e5, which is white played. King c7. King c7 is moving the king into a safe place towards king b8, so that the black king can be secured. So now we will see the rook f7 check, king b8, e6, and if you are thinking of bishop f4 here, then there is bishop e6, which suppresses the attack. So e6, and if this is eaten, then there is the bishop f4 check. And we will continue. Black played bishop d6 here. Bishop d6 is a logical move since it is promoting development, and and the h8 rook can come out to play now. It is also securing the king side, and I really like the bishop d6 move for black. Next, white plays bishop g5 and black plays queen b6. White does a5 and black does a blunder, which is queen c5. And if it's queen c5, then there is the bishop f4, which is an instant loss for black. And rather than queen c5, maybe queen b4 would have been a better move. c3 could have been tried so that the b file can open. D cross c3 and b cross c3 and queen c5 check. And this time around, black gets this move with a check, gaining a crucial tempo. King h1, bishop cross e6, and the black king is ready to shift to his new hideout on c8. If rook b1 check, then king c8. And I will show you another variation rather than queen c5, which is queen cross b2, which is a very bad move, and it is a kind of move you should avoid with pure logic. Your king is sitting on b8 and white is launching a serious attack on you. Just you cannot open up the b file for him in a situation like this. So if queen cross b2, queen d1, upcoming with rook b1. So after queen c5, white also missed bishop f4, and white did another blunder because he missed bishop f4, which is b4. And black did another blunder again, which is queen e5. Except of queen e5, queen d5 would have been better, keeping the queen protected to avoid any discover attack threats from the white queen. And if e7, then rook a7, rook e1, and then g6. So white did not miss this time. Queen e5 and bishop f4 was given by white, which is a brilliant move. Queen cross e6, queen c5, queen cross f7, bishop cross d6, and that's a mate in 3 moves. Interestingly, in the last 4 moves of the game, there were 3 huge blunders that would have drastically changed the end result of the game. An inspiring idea in the opening, but an imperfect game. And that's all I wanted to tell you, and thank you for watching.